Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffery Combs.
Jeffery Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. I am producing in the flow here today. A lot happening as I'm cleaning up. A lot real estate, car breakdown, coaching, writing content, branding. John McFadden, good to see you early this afternoon. John, my brother, good to see you in Chicago, Illinois. Oh my God, welcome everyone. Michael Stroop, good to see you this afternoon. Joe Casper, good to see you. Welcome everyone. Michael Green, good to see you. Good to have everyone here this afternoon. Michael Green, good to see you. Michael, I am watching 1883 tonight. I missed it Sunday, so I'll be watching it tonight. Aaron Knight, good to see you. Haley Turner, good to see you, Haley. Cassie, good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Topic for today's Facebook Live is measurable goals. And Dave Bradbury just sent me a message. Dave Bradbury was one of my coaching clients in 2000, so he just sent me a message. So that was... And Joe Casper, just sold my land in Albuquerque. Yes, don't spoil it, Mike. I have a feeling I know it's happening. So welcome, everyone. Lori, good to see you this afternoon. Topic for today's Facebook Live is measurable accomplishments. So measurable accomplishments, it means that recently you may have been absolutely financially or emotionally challenged. And then here you are, a year or two later, you are ITF in the flow, or you're not where you want to be, and this is the year that you start to see the measurable accomplishments. So that's what I assist people to understand is clearly defined short-term goals, progress. But the way you communicate about that progress will determine whether you're in the flow or you're in the resistance. And so many people, they whine and they complain and they're sensitive and defensive. And they say things like, I'm just not sure. I don't know if I can ever get out of this. I coached a woman today on this very situation. And I told her the only way out is production. No one's going to give you a handout. I'll give you a hand up. Here's the hand up. I'll give you a couple atta-girls and tell you that I believe you can do it. But it really comes down to you putting your ass in the chair and producing the results. And what many people do is they find themselves with the back against the wall. Well, the back against the wall is because of a lack of performance and a lack of production. A large percent of the world has performance anxiety. They tell themselves stories about the outcome that isn't happening. Everyone say hello to the highly inspiring author, Joe Shermer, the author of the book Rise as One and the community Rise as One. Joe is an exceptional human being, and Joe understands what measurable accomplishments are. Joe is a real estate investor, and Joe is a real estate builder and a community builder, and he specifically devotes a lot of time to traveling the country, putting real estate projects together. So he is a real estate investor, developer, and he's putting together a project right now to put homeless veterans in homes. I mean, that's a big cause. That's a big purpose. And so it's bigger than just him, and he ties other people into his community with it. And this is what's important that you do this. Here's a measurable goal. I want to give T.C. Cole just a phenomenal sense of accomplishment. T.C. promised to coach with me 1 year ago, and she created that reality yesterday. I mean, she didn't give up. She knew that she deserved coaching with me, and she didn't lose sight of it, and she kept in touch with me, and I wasn't begging her and following up with her, and the fortune wasn't the follow-up. TC was staying in touch with me, and she created that yesterday, almost 1 year to the day. That is amazing. So let's give TC a hand and follow her. She's a very, very good brander. A measurable goal. She never gave up. She never threw in the towel. She stayed in that process. Lucy Curran is on today's Facebook Live. Let's give Lucy a hand. Lucy went to an event in Florida with a broken leg. In today's world, are you kidding me? She went to with her husband, Sean, they're clients of mine. She attended an event and received an award at an event on stage in Destin, Florida over the weekend in a wheelchair with a broken leg. Once again, that's a measurable accomplishment. That is courage, a quality that never goes out of fashion, and there's always a market for it. Here's a few measurable goals that, for me, this was one of my first audio programs. I mean, look at this. I found this online. I bought it for myself online. It's an old copy of Psychology of Closing. This was produced in 2002. The original version was a cassette series. I produced the cassette series in 1999. This book was called The Procrastination Cure, a bestseller. I sold the rights to this book to a company called Career Press. As you can see right there, Career Press. I got a signing bonus for it. Became a bestseller in 4 different countries. 4 countries, 4 different languages. It's on my new website. Procrastination Cure. It originally was a book called From Procrastination to Production. And that book got me on, if you see the signs on NBC, CBS, I was interviewed by the woman on Taxi. You got to think of her name. Mary Lou Henner interviewed me. That book allowed me to be on a lot of television programs, and I ended up on a Lifetime channel on a program. So once again, that was a measurable accomplishment. This was my first book, 2002, More Heart Than Talent. I did not know I had a book in me, 2002. I took the content from the book, More Heart Than Talent, came up with the idea and took the recorded version, had it transcribed, put the 13 chapters together, found someone to assist me with my first book project, and turned that into my first book. Second book, Psychologically Unemployable. I had a vision to have Mark Victor Hansen endorse the book. Well, Mark Victor Hansen endorsed the book, so it's right there on the back. You've got a date with destiny with my friend Jeffery Combs. He's going to help you get there. Mark Victor Hansen. Measurable Accomplishments. I had a vision of writing a book about anger. Right there it is, The Anger Factor. I used to read a book called Angry All the Time. I have 2 copies of it on my shelf right behind me, right back there, by Efron and Potter, a husband-wife team. And I went ahead and wrote my own version of that in 2015. Then my number 1 best-selling book, The Breakthrough Factor, that was 2018. So those are measurable goals. Now, I wrote those books while coaching 14 hours a day, traveling 150,000 air miles a year, speaking 45 times a year, either dating, mating, being married. At different times, I had 3 Jack Russells in my house while being a real estate investor. All of you can do this. I'm from a tiny town about this big, 7,500 people. I never had a mentor. I worked with 4 different millionaires throughout my teens and 20s that I modeled myself after. Right, Mike says no excuses. I also hit rock bottom at age 31, ended up in a wheelchair in a drug, alcohol, heroin clinic with one of those roll-up mattresses that you roll up, and they would roll them up because people would come and go. They would come and go so quickly. I was the only one to make it out of there alive from the week I started. Everyone else bought the farm. So once again, if you want to see some measurable goals, it means like right here where I am, this is called AIC, ass in chair. Now right there is my chair. So that is a cowhide, so you can get a chance to see my ass in chair. That's where I set a great deal of my time. I'm at a desk that's over 100 years old. It's an Art Deco desk from the 20s. I once saw this desk in a Art Deco boutique in San Francisco, California, back in 1996 when I was $100,000 in credit card. No, Mike, I am not in the new house. My new house is 2 houses down from me. It's a 15-second walk. And that will be a house for clients who want to visit me. That will be a house for potentially to do an event for 10 to 15 or 5 to 10 people in my house. And it's a staged house where a lot of my possessions, saddles, neons, 2 of my classic cars are in the garage. And that is an investment property. It is not a fix and flip. It is not a bed and breakfast. It is not a hotel. It is not an Airbnb. And it's not a rental. It is a luxury property. It's one of my banks. So I bank my money in that house. And there's more metaphors in there because you always want to have a place that no one else can find. So keep that in mind when it really comes down to the laws that govern money. And so you want to have investment property, property that you live in, assets, and these are other situations. These are measurable goals. I bought that house at the very end of May with my wife. We took possession at the end of June. We had to do a 1031 exchange, a very complicated $700,000 pass-through with $200,000 rehab in it. I had to hire an accommodator to handle all the transfer of the funds to satisfy the Internal Revenue Service on what is called a 1031 exchange. And I had to do that within 6 months to do that. and that was accomplished 2 months ago. So once again, measurable goals. And right before like 1 minute before this Facebook Live, my contractor called me and said he would be finished today. Could he pick his check up for $15,000 that I owe him, his last payment? And I said, my wife and assistant will do a walkthrough and we will compensate you for your value. And once again, this is measurable goals. So bought the house in May, did a $400,000 rehab. And I just factored, those of you who understand real estate, $400,000 rehab, 9 different contractors. Just imagine the pathological lies that I have witnessed, overcome, endured, listened to, and fired, hired, rehired, refired, and brought new people into that project. I had to fire the heating and air conditioning contractors and took an $8,000 loss to start over. And oh my God, I mean, for those of you who understand real estate investing, you understand what it is like to operate in other people's chaos and drama, and it takes a lot of skills, measurable goals. That house is now completed. The original construction began in June, and now here we are, the 1st of March. It will be done, finished, and completed. So measurable goals. Athletes have measurable accomplishments. Entertainers, actors, actresses, entrepreneurs have measurable accomplishments. And it's inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. And I ask many of my clients, I go, in rigorous honesty, can you honestly tell yourself that you have been paying the price of success? Or are you paying the pain of regret? And I ask many of my clients who are good people, I mean, really good people, then they get frustrated and disappointed, and they say, I'm not where I should be, and it's not happening fast enough. Well, I understand that. The egoic mind wants instant gratification. An addict always wants a little more. But a skilled, trained professional will do the same thing over and over. And it's the man in the ring. Joe, you feel me, my brother, Joe Shermer. The man in the ring, Teddy Roosevelt's great speech that he wrote, that you can buy that. You should definitely buy that. A copy of that, The Man in the Ring. It's an amazing quotations by Teddy Roosevelt, who incidentally is one of the greatest presidents in American history, and all of our national parks are a direct reflection of his vision. And if he didn't have the vision, we wouldn't have Yellowstone, we wouldn't have Yosemite, and that's a man with a vision. Measurable accomplishments. It means it's what you do daily. If you don't have a system or a routine, what you're doing is winging it. And the last time I checked on my 50-year-old Rolex, that you don't accomplish measurable goals by winging it. This watch was my 3rd Rolex. It is a 60-year, let's see, the watch was given to Roger Erickson in 1961. I bought it in a pawn shop, and I looked at that watch for a couple of years before I ever had the money to buy it. And I told him, I promised myself that when I had the money, I would go in there with Ben Franklin's and lay down $3,000 for that watch. And that watch has now been on my wrist for 22 years. And so once again, I had a plan, and I had a committed plan. I also had a committed goal to go into Von Hausen Motors in Sacramento, California, and I committed that plan when I was $100,000 in credit card debt. I told myself I was going to buy a 1987 red 560 SE coupe with a convertible with a hard top. And once again, it took me 3 years to accomplish that task. And I will never forget, in December of 1997, I walked into Von Hausen Motors and laid down $26,000 in cash in a briefcase for that dream car. All of you can do this. Every single one of you can do this. Man in the ring, Teddy Roosevelt. Right. You're the woman in the ring. You're the man in the ring. You're the woman in the arena. It's up to you, baby. It's right here, right now. It is the most challenging time in world history. I mean, look at the date. It's 2/22/22. This happens every 248 years. Now, on this date, the Roman Empire fell. That is a very interesting situation. Every 248 years. And there's content going around today on this date in the universe. This is a very significant date in the universe. So create significance out of this today. Be your best self today. Lay it down. Stand it up. Be that man. Be that woman who you've always wanted to become. You can be that right here, right now. I've seen many of you walk away from careers. I watched Brenda, who's on today's Facebook Live. Brenda walked away from a nursing career, and she's crushing it in real estate. I've watched many of you do this, and I'm so proud of you that you really found that courage, that emotional etheric energy, that white light energy to look across the bridge, then scale up and you have to go up the steps. That's the step of courage. You go up the step and then you get on the bridge. Once you're on the bridge, you look back over anxiety, fear, and doubt. I mean, this is the metaphor for what consciousness is. Once you're up on the bridge and you look back over your shoulder, you're looking at anxiety, fear, and doubt. Across the bridge, on the other side, is the island in South Carolina. That's if you've ever been to Charleston, that's where the islands are, right on the other side. And my friend Joe DiBianca is now living on one of those islands. He had a dream and a vision to live Philadelphia in 2020. He grew up in South Philadelphia. I've dined with him there at least 20 times in a restaurant called Dante and Luigi's, one of my favorite restaurants in the United States. Unfortunately, I'll probably never be able to dine there again because of what's happened to that great city. But he had a vision, and he's now in South Carolina, in Charleston. Another client of mine, Kelly Dugas, left San Diego, drove cross-country, bought a home in Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, you have to have big dreams and big vision. You have to have big action. So you can have the big dreams and the big vision, but you also have to have clearly defined, measurable goals. What many people do is they state a goal that's so big they can't get there. And they're not realistic in their goals. I'm a methodical guy. I'm an inch-by-inch guy. I'm a system person. I'm a method person. And I produce the results one day at a time over a long career. It's chip away. And that's what I do with the foundation. And all of a sudden the rock cracks. Once the rock cracks, then you can get the crowbar in it. Once you can get the crowbar in it, now you have leverage. So what does Brenda say? Just signed a listing and headed to showing shortly, and another consult tonight, producing results in a relaxed body. I mean, I was coaching Brenda a year ago when she starts her real estate career, and where she is today is amazing. But once again, she's where she is not by procrastinating and avoiding. She's where she is by learning how to sell. Brenda was a top tier woman in the nursing industry. I mean, she was the top of her profession. But in 1 year, she's completely transformed herself. It's amazing to watch what she has done, not only in her sales career, but in her transformational career. Congratulations. Everyone say hello to Ruth Blackwell. Ruth is with us from Perth, Australia. Good to see you, Ruth. Ruth is a consistent follower of my content. I coached Ruth for 2 years, a first-class human being and an exceptional woman. I am honored to have been Ruth's coach, and so she's dialing in with us here from Perth, Australia, one of the wonders of the world. Cassie, good to see you this afternoon. Brenda says, thank you, Coach. Grateful for you. I'm honored to be your coach and friend. And the more you understand that this measurable progress, these measurable goals. So when my assistant came in today, I had 6 bullet points for him. I wrote them out on a Post-it just like this. I wrote out with this pen, I wrote 6 things for him to do this morning. And so those 6 topics, one was to get a new battery in my Jeep. Another one was to move a red chair and a red ottoman to my house next door. Another one was to meet with our webmaster, who's actually on today's Facebook Live. Beth Devine. Beth just posted where you can find her. Beth is an SEO expert, and she creates specific websites to line up with SEO projects. And I've hired Beth for 6 months. I'm very, very inspired to see what Beth can create for me. And Beth was on one of his 6 points. He also was to call a former person that we did business with about a lost article. I mean, he had a laundry list of people. One of his items on the list was to go to the health food store. There's a naturopathic doctor who owns a health food store. Her name is Eunice Green. Look her up, and she has bulk herbs. I mean, this woman is off the charts for quantum growth and quantum healing. Green's Nutrition in Stockton, California. She sells bulk herbs. She puts herbs together for kidney stones so you don't have to get surgery. I mean, she has a kidney stone tea that she makes from scratch. I mean, she is that fucking good. Green's Nutrition, and that was one of the people. So when he came back into my office at 12:30, he had accomplished all 6 of those tasks. Now, I wrote them out for him, and he completed them. Those are measurable goals, and this is every single day of my life, 7 days a week. I'm a list guy, and this is how things get done. They get checked off with this pen like this. Check, 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 check. Sometimes I do the line with the pigtail at the end, but whatever it is, whether it's a check or the pigtail, it gets done in a system. That's right, Mike. Accountability, synchronicity. Okay, Joe Casper, her name is Eunice Green. I'll hold this up for you. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, Eunice Green, her cell phone number is right there. If you want to see her, I'm giving Eunice an endorsement. And I let Eunice know that if it ever gets dicey, Eunice is one of 8 people, and Eunice is one of us. I let Eunice know this morning. I said, Eunice, I got your back, baby. It's you and me. So Eunice's store is 4 blocks away from me. And I told Eunice that Eunice Green. So I told Eunice today that Dylan and I are Missouri boys and you can count us. For those of you who know what count on us means, you know you can count on us. A couple of Missouri boys, you can count on us. Ruth says, thank you, Joe. It's very hard to watch this unfolding. Praying hard for myself. Yes, Ruth. It is very challenging. Joe, go ahead and call Eunice and let her know that I gave you her number, or I endorsed her on my call. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you are brand new to my Facebook Lives, I want to thank you for being here. I want to give an endorsement to my boy Joe Shermer, too. Joe, the author of the high-inspiring book, Rise as One. And if you're looking for real estate in Idaho, Mike, you sell in Montana and Wyoming as well. But Mike Green is on today's Facebook Live. Mike sells real estate, 2 for Tuesday. Mike sells real estate in one of God's countries, a place called Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So Mike is your man for real estate in that area. Mike sells in Idaho. So reach out to him. He definitely has great properties for you. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron said great content. I'm going to get a haircut today. Get a little trim this afternoon. Mike just posted where you can find him on Facebook. And Cassie, definitely reach out to Mike. Cassie Opa Turcotte is on today's Facebook Live. Mike, reach out to Cassie. Cassie is a world traveler. She deserves to see what Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Mike, that's Cassioka Turcotte. She's on today's Facebook Live. She is a exceptional woman, a world traveler. Cassie, tell him what you do if you can't. Dave Bradbury just joined us. That's awesome. Cassie is a fortune hunter. Roger Maldonado, my brother, good to see you. Cassie's a fortune hunter, and she goes to former historical sites, Revolutionary War sites, and she finds musket balls. She's found arrowheads. She's found metal tips. She's also gone to lodge sites for indigenous Indian groups, and so she's a fortune hunter. Follow Cassie Turcotte. She's an exceptional woman. She's also a top-tier college basketball player and high school basketball coach. Yes, Joe, I know you love Cassie. She's awesome. Joe, did you know Cassie was a fortune hunter? Did you know that about her? She's an exceptional woman. Cassie has found remarkable treasures. She has one of those metal machines, those detectors. Everyone say hello to Roger Maldonado. He's one of us. He's a brother from another mother. Good to see you, Roger. My last trip, I found a French Biscayne axe head. Cassie found a French Biscayne axe head. I mean, if you know what that is, you are the man or you are the woman. Cassie is fascinating. Yes, she is. I did not know that. Yes, Joe, she's a fortune hunter, a phenomenal one. Have a great afternoon, everyone. If you're on today's Facebook Live and have not accessed a free 20-minute coaching session, go right up there and request it. Mike, Cassie is a fortune hunter. Beth Ireland, good to see you. Cassie is a fortune hunter. If you've not accessed a free 20-minute coaching session, go right up there and request from me. Also, if you are a former client or an existing client you want to add on to your coaching, feel free to go right up there and request. I have a unique marketing proposition for you. Have a great afternoon, everyone. See you tonight.